but there are 4 together. And they've got the Brodie Chapman, the champion of Australia, in second wheel, Rachel Neylan.
Fantastic role by Chapman. Spratt taking full responsibility. She's the one doing all of the work, but there's a price to be paid for that.
Well, you know, Spratt does need to be very considered and conservative. This is her 13th year as a professional. I think she's got the experience part of it now, a stalwart in the Australian cycling team. And the aerial provides a bit of a different perspective of what 10 seconds looks like. It is still quite a significant gap. They've got Brodie Chapman sitting in that second group. Rachel Neylan was getting very visibly frustrated with her not rolling through, but you can't expect her to. It's definitely not her role to do that. But Claire Steels is there, as well as Georgia Williams. If they still want to be in the race for first, they have to up their game and do a little bit of work. It is a bit of a risk. Don't work, break, comes back, do work. Are you too tired to take the sprint? Loes Adegast, as we talked about, comes out of a very successful Netherlands stable of riders. Never underestimate them, not just in a sprint, ever, I think. On the rise, her talent.
Now she rolls through. That's good news for Spratt. The Dutch woman is contributing. The chase behind Williams takes up the chase. Neylan slots in a second position. For the chasers, they need to keep the Australian champion Brodie Chapman at the back of that group. She is there deliberately as a disruptor for her teammate Amanda Spratt.
And Brodie Chapman, if they do come back together, absolutely is a big risk at the finish, especially how Trek Segafredo have been riding today. When we saw Loretta Hansen take those 2 big attacks, one of them was particularly well timed as they came through the start-finish line. Just as the group was coming back together, Georgie Howe was being pulled back and she just surprised everybody and went. I think that is Trek's way of operating. But this gap is now increasing. With only 2.7 kilometres left to go, 20 seconds when it's going out rather than coming back, I think we're looking at the 2 that will come into the sprint together here because they're still riding together. They're still working really hard and going very fast. It would take a bit of a cat and mouse delay, I think, to significantly reduce this gap.
2.4 kilometres. It's highly improbable now they'll cross this gap because they're not that organised behind. And if Adegast were to win this, it would be only the second win of her career at this level of bike race. She won last year in France in the Ardèche. She can win in the sprint, and I don't know what to suggest to Amanda Spratt right now because we're closing in. I remember watching Cadel Evans arrive here in the first time he rode his own race and coming down here and turning right and getting placed. I think he was 5th at the end.
Oh, that's a big bunch coming, Matt, in the background there.
It is, and it's Jaco Alula who are leading the chase. San Michel, they're also in there. They're working to try and bring it back together. Doing the work is Meermont at the front in the orange colours. She's got the Canadian Bollard as her sprinter. This is not over. 2 kilometres remaining. The 2 leaders need to keep working together.
They do, but the fact this bunch is getting back tells me these 4 are not organised to cross that gap. They may be sprinting out 3rd place here because these 2 have now started to help each other. There can't be a lot left in the tank. But Amanda Spratt will breathe a sigh of relief. She can take a break occasionally behind.
They make the right-hand turn onto the Esplanade. Just over 1,500 metres remaining. Aldegeist in second spot. Spratt on the front. She's won here before. So too has Neylan. But the chance is slipping away.
I can almost see steam coming out of Neylan's ears because she's watching them right away when all she wants is people to work with her, to help her. No one is there to help Rachel Neylan, because they're all there for themselves at this point in the race. 1.3 kilometres left to go. We're looking at the 2 who are in the prime position there. Amanda Spratt, Loes Adegast. They're not even in a straight line here, this chasing bunch. The pace has come off enough that I'm starting to feel really confident for Spratt and Adegast that they will bring this to the finish. Spratt's done a lot more work though, Matt. She has been the one that has been charging this break. Is Adegast fatigued and can't work, or is she faking it a bit?
Spratt has been the engine room, but she's got Adegast onto the front with a kilometre to go. Does Spratt go cold-blooded now?
Well, that is the intelligence of one of the most experienced riders in this race today, Amanda Spratt. She's done it all, but she's going to have to ride very, very cleverly now to beat the Dutch woman.
Adegast touched the brakes. She's prepared to risk a place on the podium for the win. And here comes the move. This is Justine Barrow from the Australian national team. Alex Manley is still there, but are they racing for third? They can't see the leaders. Yes, they can.
Inside the final kilometre now. I think they're racing for third. These are the two who are charging toward the finish. Amanda Spratt for Trek Segafredo, Luz Artigas in her first year in the World Tour for FDJ. But they're starting to stall. They can't afford to do this.
Kate, you should be back in your element now. You're on the velodrome now because they're going to gamble between being caught and taking the advantage. Amanda Spratt is going to slow. She knows she can't beat this girl in the sprint, not if she comes off a back wheel. And I reckon if they get to the line, they'll have 1 second between them on the line. It's a cool hand Luke situation now.
It's a ruthless game of poker, and the chase is on from behind. It is Noskova who has launched the early sprint. 300 metres. Spratt on the fronts. Aldergeist. In fact, it's Danny DiFrancesco who is coming. Aldergeist now opens up the sprints. Spratt tries to go shoulder to shoulder. They're inside the last 200. Aldergeist has her nose in front. Spratt has not surrendered, but it's Aldergeist still leading. Spratt is coming. Aldergeist wins the Deakin University Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race. Spratt in second.
Absolutely amazing. It was inevitable. One would not have wanted to be in the shoes of Spratty there, because if she hadn't have done that work, they would have been caught more than a kilometre from the finish. But you know, it's horses for courses. And Aldergeist knew exactly what she had to do to win that race. It's only her second World Tour win, and she took it well. That's a huge result for FDJ. They're having a good time in Australia, aren't they?
A fantastic season. New recruit to the team. Top of the ladder in a World Tour race. Brilliant performance. She was cold-blooded in the last 10 kilometres since going over the top of Chilambra and sticking with Spratt.
But she did well. I mean, she hurt herself to hold on to the woman's back wheel, and that's what she did. If you take a look at the face of Amanda Spratt, she was never in this challenge. She moved out to have a look at the line. She was never going past this woman today, Lois Aldergeist.
Amanda Spratt, another podium finish in the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race. 2 third-place finishes the previous 2 years. She won the race in 2016.
That's her first second.
It's her first second-place finish. And Grace Brown, we saw Grace Brown on the approach to the final climb. She was sacrificing herself once again for a teammate.
Well, I must confess, it wasn't the best race I've seen because the way the riders rode it, but it was expected over those last 2 laps to be exactly what it was. Full of excitement, full of everybody trying their best laid plans. They can only work for one person, but it wasn't the one we thought it would work for.
Indeed, but it's celebration time for the team. It was Nina Bulsman from Human Powered Health rounding out the podium in third. We will hear from the winner shortly. New experience for her, Phil, getting organised. What do I need for the presentation? Here's a look at the top 10. Aldergeist getting the win ahead of Spratt. Bulsman in third position. Nelson was fourth. Then DiFrancesco. Christie was the next best. Roseman, Gannon, Williams, Doble, Highcock, and then Bollard rounding out the top 10. And the gap in the end was just 4 seconds. They were really flirting with that victory out in front, weren't they, Phil?
Most certainly were, and as you can see, a flourish of the Australians and the Kiwis in there as well. But on the top, they're showing the flag of the Netherlands for the first ever World Tour victory for Lois Aldergeist.